Have you ever wished rain could quiet the noise inside you? Imagine sitting where time slows into gentle, breathing stillness. Rain trails down ivy-covered windows like silver lines of silence. A warm lamp glows across shelves filled with patient old books. The world outside feels distant and pleasantly unimportant for now. You are not rushing, thinking, or trying to be elsewhere. You are simply here, breathing softly in a quiet library. The air carries hints of parchment, wood, and fresh rainwater. A tin whistle begins a soft melody somewhere out of sight. A harp answers gently, like pages turning by themselves nearby. The music does not demand attention. It offers calm company. This place feels familiar, though you have never visited before. An old academy stands outside, hidden behind drifting evening mist. Earlier, students filled these halls with footsteps and laughter. Now, only silence and rain remain with you tonight. A single lamp flickers beside an open, waiting book. You sit down as though you were always meant to. Your fingers brush the spine of a thick, weathered volume. The cover feels cool, textured, and strangely comforting. Somewhere, a quiet voice hums in an unfamiliar language. The sounds hold no meaning, yet feel deeply meaningful. Your thoughts begin slowing, untangling like threads in warm water. Rain grows heavier, tapping thoughtful rhythms against the glass. Each drop sounds like a reminder to relax further. You realize you have not checked the time for hours. The outside world seems to have forgotten you completely. And strangely, that thought brings unexpected comfort tonight. A soft breeze carries the scent of wet ivy inside. Pages rustle quietly without any visible hands turning them. The library feels alive, but calmly protective around you. You exhale slowly, releasing days of hidden tension. The chair beneath you feels older than memory itself. Music drifts like mist between shelves of forgotten knowledge. You wonder who studied here before your arrival this evening. Perhaps they also came here seeking quiet refuge. Perhaps they also needed relief from overwhelming expectations. You feel connected to invisible stories lingering in the air. Lamplight casts long shadows that resemble flowing ink. Those shadows seem to read along with you quietly. Gentle curiosity replaces the rush of daily thoughts. You are no longer trying to solve or understand anything. You are simply allowing this moment to exist peacefully. Rain outside feels like a protective curtain from reality. Inside, the music wraps around you like a warm cloak. You close your eyes briefly and listen more carefully. Harp strings shimmer like droplets sliding across glass. The whistle hums like wind through distant corridors. Together, they create a place where nothing needs explaining. You begin to feel lighter, as if gravity softens slightly. Even your breathing matches the slow rhythm of rain. The open book waits without pressure or urgency. You do not feel required to read, only invited. You realize this library is not a place of learning. It is a place for letting go of earlier worries. The humming voice seems to rise gently from the pages. It curls upward like warmth from an unseen candle. You lean back, letting the chair hold your weight. Rain continues its peaceful conversation with the windows. Somewhere, a page turns without your assistance. You smile slightly without knowing exactly why. The world feels distant, but you feel completely present. This place asks nothing from you except quiet awareness. You realize how rarely you allow yourself this stillness. The music feels less like sound and more like atmosphere. Even your thoughts begin to sound softer and slower. You notice the comfort of being completely unobserved here. No expectations follow you into this hidden corner of calm. Rain continues, patient and endlessly gentle outside. The library remains ancient and welcoming around you. You wonder how long you have been sitting peacefully. You realize it truly does not matter at all. This moment feels like stepping outside the flow of time. You feel safe, quiet, and deeply settled here. You begin to understand why places like this feel magical. Because sometimes, peace hides quietly between raindrops and old books. You imagine this library belongs to a young student. She is new here, uncertain, and quietly overwhelmed by lessons. Others perform easily, while she struggles with simple incantations. Her confidence shrinks a little after each difficult class. Yet she always returns here when rain begins falling. The library becomes her refuge from silent comparisons and doubts. She traces book spines like familiar paths toward comfort. Rain against windows makes her feel less alone inside. Each drop sounds like gentle reassurance against self-doubt. She opens her book slowly beneath the patient lamplight. The words look complex, tangled, and slightly intimidating still. She whispers the spells softly, stumbling over several syllables. Instead of frustration, quiet determination begins growing stronger. The harp nearby seems to encourage her without speaking. The whistle hums like a friend sitting silently beside her. She tries again, slower this time, more focused and calm. Outside, rain grows heavier while her breathing grows steadier. Nobody watches her struggle in this hidden corner tonight. That privacy gives her unexpected courage to continue trying. She reads each line carefully, letting meaning settle gently. The soft vocals echo like distant voices offering support. She smiles faintly while attempting the words once more. This time, the sounds feel slightly easier to pronounce. She does not notice the improvement, but it exists. Dust drifts through lamplight like thoughts settling peacefully. She pauses to listen more closely to the music. The notes seem to whisper that progress rarely happens loudly. It happens quietly, like rain filling unseen rivers overnight. She repeats the spell again with patient, steady breathing. Something inside her feels calmer, less pressured, more hopeful. The library seems to understand her effort completely. She leans back, allowing tired shoulders to finally relax. Rain applauds gently against ivy-covered glass outside. She realizes she feels different here than anywhere else. Here, mistakes feel like part of learning, not failure. Here, time moves slowly enough to allow gentle growth. She closes her eyes and listens between falling notes. Silence becomes as comforting as the melody surrounding her. She begins associating rain with calm instead of sadness. She associates this library with hope instead of frustration. She turns another page without hesitation this time. The words appear friendlier than they did earlier. She whispers the spell again with surprising steadiness now. A small spark of pride warms her chest quietly, not because she succeeded, but because she kept trying. She does not realize how much she has grown tonight. She only knows she feels calmer than when she arrived. Rain continues, protecting this quiet transformation gently. The music becomes a memory she will carry forward. She promises herself to return whenever rain begins again, because this place teaches more than any classroom lesson. It teaches her how to be patient with herself. She closes the book softly beneath relaxed fingertips. The harp strings fade like light dissolving into dusk. The whistle quiets like mist disappearing into evening air. She sits for a moment, not ready to leave. The calm feels too precious to rush away from. She breathes deeply, memorizing how this peace feels. She knows she will need this feeling again soon. The rain begins slowing into a softer, gentler rhythm. She stands slowly, carrying calmness within her chest. The library watches her leave with silent understanding. She glances back once before stepping toward the door. The lamplight still glows over shelves of waiting books. She smiles, knowing she will return on another rainy evening, because this place holds something she cannot find elsewhere. It holds permission to be imperfect without fear. It holds patience that the outside world rarely offers. It holds quiet encouragement without spoken words. It holds space where she can breathe freely. She walks down the corridor, feeling lighter than before. Rain continues tapping softly as she disappears from view. The music lingers faintly behind her like a memory. She leaves, knowing she is stronger than earlier today. And she understands that patience is her greatest lesson. And then you begin to notice something unexpectedly familiar here. The student sitting quietly in this library feels strangely recognizable. You realize this story is reflecting someone you already know. The young student in the rain is actually you. The Magic Academy is your everyday, complicated, demanding life. The difficult spells are tasks you struggle with daily. The comparisons are pressures you quietly carry within yourself. The rainy library is the space you rarely allow yourself. The music is the calm you forget to invite inward. The spellbook is the work waiting patiently without judging you. The rain is time passing whether you rush or not. You realize how often you criticize your slow progress. You realize how rarely you sit without expectations pressing heavily. You realize how deeply you need moments like this. Moments where nothing demands performance or immediate perfection from you. The library becomes a symbol of stillness you forgot. The rain becomes permission to slow down without guilt. The music becomes a bridge back to gentle awareness. You understand why this scene feels deeply comforting and personal. It mirrors a peace you have been searching for quietly. You don't need a real academy to feel this calm. You only need to create small pockets of quiet intentionally. You only need to stop demanding constant productivity from yourself. The twist is that nothing magical actually needed to happen. The magic was always in allowing yourself to pause. Growth happened because the student stayed patiently present. You begin seeing your own struggles differently from this perspective. Perhaps you are learning more than you think each day. Perhaps progress is happening quietly without loud announcement. The rain becomes a metaphor for steady unseen change. The library becomes a reminder that rest is productive too. The music becomes proof that calm can exist anywhere. You realize you can return here whenever you choose. All you need is breath, awareness, and gentle intention. You close your eyes briefly and listen again. You hear rain, music, and your own slower breathing. The scene shifts from fantasy into something surprisingly real. You understand why this imagery feels emotionally healing. It gives you permission you didn't know you needed. Permission to slow down without guilt whispering behind you. Permission to try again without harsh self-criticism afterward. Permission to sit quietly without checking time repeatedly. You begin to feel lighter understanding this deeper connection. The student's patience becomes a lesson for your own mind. The rain's rhythm becomes a guide for your breathing. The library's silence becomes a refuge you can recreate. The music's softness becomes a companion during stressful evenings. You realize how powerful stillness can truly be. You realize why this place feels almost necessary now. Because it reflects something you desperately needed to remember. You are allowed to learn slowly without punishing yourself. You are allowed to rest without feeling undeserving. You are allowed to exist without constantly proving something. The twist is that this place has always existed within you. You simply forgot how to visit it intentionally. The rain was never outside. It was inside your thoughts. The library was never distant. It was within your awareness. The music was never imaginary. It was your breath slowing. You realize you can return here whenever you feel overwhelmed. You only need to close your eyes and listen carefully. Each sound can become a doorway back into calmness. Each breath can help you feel less pressured by everything. The student's journey becomes a reflection of your own journey. You are learning, even when progress feels invisible. You are growing, even when mistakes feel frustrating. You are improving, even when confidence feels temporarily absent. The library reminds you that patience creates quiet strength. The rain reminds you that change happens drop by drop. The music reminds you that calm is always accessible. You begin to see this story as deeply personal now. You no longer see the student as fictional anymore. You see her as a gentle reflection of yourself. And suddenly, the entire scene feels even more meaningful because it was never just a story about a library. It was a story about you finding stillness again,